Okay, back here for another video tonight. Today's video is a video response for Rudog 21's 100 subscriber giveaway. He's challenged us to talk about a player we like to collect and then give some little known facts about that player, and then also answer a question. My player that I like to collect is Newcombe, and you can see him, his 56 tops there, and then one of his exhibit cards. And I'll talk about him in just a minute, but first I want to answer Rudog 21's, I want to answer Mark's question. So his question is, Roberto Clemente won more than 10 gold gloves and had more than a 300 batting average in his career. I better show off Roberto Clemente while I'm talking about him. Here's Mr. Clemente. Matter of fact, Clemente had 12 gold gloves and a 317 career average. So, who are the other three players to also accomplish that feat? First one I knew right away, and that was Willie Mays. Willie Mays also accomplished that feat. He also had 12 gold gloves and a 301 career average. There's a nice 1964 tops Willie Mays. I also grabbed a 65 Mays to show as well. So there's two players. The third player, I kind of stumbled upon this one. I happened to have his baseball reference page up on my phone right after I watched the video, and that is Ichiro Suzuki. And Ichiro had 10 gold gloves and a 311 career average. Also have a Topps Chrome rookie of Ichiro. And then the last player, this one was kind of tricky. I had a hard time with this one. It took me a while. I really had to use my brain to figure this one out. But I think it is Roberto Alomar. I think that is the fourth one that Mark is thinking of. He had 10 gold gloves and exactly a 300 career batting average. And this is a chrome reprint of Alomar's rookie card. I don't have a lot of Alomar cards. So that's my answer to the question. 300 or better career average and 10 or more gold gloves. So talking about Don Newcombe, he was the first great black pitcher that had, and what I mean by that is in terms of his success in the major leagues. This guy was obviously very successful in the Negro Leagues, but was much older by the time that he made the major leagues. That's Satchel Paige. Newcombe was the first black pitcher that was very successful in the major leagues in terms of accolades and records and all those kind of things. He came up in 1949, won the Rookie of the Year. I think people are probably pretty familiar with that. And then he also was MVP in Cy Young in 1956. And this is a 1961 Topps commemorating his 56 MVP. I think people are pretty familiar with that he was the first player to win all three of those awards. And Justin Verlander has since also accomplished that feat. Newcombe also won the 55 World Series with Brooklyn. I think, people are familiar with that. Here's a 1950 Bowman rookie card of Don Newcombe. It's a well-loved card before I was able to get it, but still a nice card. That's from 1950. So, but a couple of things about Don Newcombe that I'm not sure people know. I think it's pretty well known. He was drafted into the Army during Korea. He lost, I think it was 52 and 53. He was serving in the military. I had to take some notes in all my research of Newcombe. But 52, 53 in the military. I think this heritage set is just really a great set. It has a piece of his Army uniform on there. But I did not realize that initially that he struggled so much with alcoholism. He, later on, he thought that he lost probably 6 to 7 years off of his career. And, unfortunately, a lot of that was due to the stress and pressure. He was one of those initial 4 players that Brooklyn brought up, 4 black players that Brooklyn brought up, being Robinson, Campanella, Dan Bankhead, and Newcombe. And, he, being Newcombe, dealt with a lot of that stress by drinking alcohol. Other players did not. He talked about how Robinson and Campanella did not drink to deal with the stress and pressure. And he relied heavily upon Campanella. Campanella was like a father figure or big brother figure. I can't remember which term he used, but they were very, very close and came up through the minors together. But even throughout his time in the majors, he relied heavily upon Campanella. And I think he called Campanella his steadying hand for Newcombe. I thought it was interesting that when he was initially signed, when Newcombe and Campanella, they were signed about the same time. And when they were assigned to a minor league team, one of the teams would not take black players, but Nashua, in I think it was New Hampshire, would take them. And ironically, the manager of Nashua was none other than a player manager named Walter Alston, who would later on obviously manage the Brooklyn and LA Dodgers. And Buzzy Bavasi was also the GM of that Nashua team, who would also go on to work with the Dodgers. He actually, and I think this is my main fact that I'm trying to get to here, as I talk about Newcombe, is they being Campanella and Newcombe had the same restrictions put on them that, I'm just going to show off some Newcombe cards that I talk here, but they had the same restrictions put on them that Robinson did, and that was they couldn't fight back against white players and the insults and assaults and different things that happened during their careers. And so I believe it was at Nashua, at one point a white player charged the mound when Newcombe was pitching, and he wasn't able to fight back, right? So the guy playing first base ran and intercepted the batter charging the mound, and he describes it in some colorful language, but beat the heck out of this batter that charged at him. That first baseman for Nashua at that time was none other than Chuck Connor. And if you don't know, Chuck Connor was the actor that went on to play the Rifleman in the famous 50s and 60s TV show. And so that is something that I don't know if a lot of people know, is they played baseball together, and just kind of an interesting connection there. Newcombe also met Martin Luther King Jr. later in life, and or excuse me, during his playing career. And, you know, Martin Luther King said that, you know, guys like Newcombe, Robinson, Campanella were under more pressure than he was, which was pretty astounding to Newcombe. And, you know, considering that Martin Luther King dealt with, you know, physical beatings and different things during, to say the least. But anyways, I've rambled enough. Just a couple facts about Newcombe. We talked about Robinson, so I'll just show off a Robinson card real quick here. But anyways, Newcombe was a great player. His career stats, I think, speak for themselves. But a guy that, like I said, had to get to some severe lows before he was able to do away with alcohol. He sold off his World Series championship ring in 1965 before he got sober in 1966. And, you know, he used that experience to help guys like Maury Wills, for example. He and Tommy Davis, Fred Clare, helped Maury Wills deal with some substance abuse issues as well. Anyways, a very interesting and troubled guy was Don Newcombe. Unfortunately, he passed away a couple of years ago. But a guy that lost, you know, several years to the Negro Leagues, to multiple years in the minors, 2 years in the military. What could have been if he had not drank so much. You know, we're talking 6, 7, 8, 9 seasons of additional statistics. He could be a surefire Hall of Famer. So, really interesting guy. I'm still working on his player run. I need a couple more mid-50s Bowmans, and I need the 58 tops Newcombe, I think, and I'll be getting close to having that run. So, thanks again, Mark. This is a great idea for a video. I've enjoyed talking about Don Newcombe and researching him, and I look forward to seeing some other videos. Thanks.